are the New York Knicks. I'm back. Back in New York. Well, it's the Knicks. New York. We are the New York Knicks. New York. For this new season we're about to enter, the Knicks taking no shorts just like winter.
New York, New York.
New York be about the Knicks, huh?
But the best thing about New York City is
K-N-I-C-K-S.
Everybody say go New York, go New York, go!
Hey everybody, it's the New York Knicks podcast, episode 483, part of the Lineups Podcast Network and Dash Radio. I am Jay, and with me is Mark. How you doing, Mark?
I'm doing all right. The Knicks got a win this week, so I'm in parade mode, I guess.
I really thought it was going to be 2. I think everybody did.
I think everyone did. It's been a weird week of Knicks basketball. So the 3 games that happened this week were the Bulls, the Mavericks, and the Hornets. The Bulls game was the hey, can someone cover Cody White? He's open. He went into the game shooting like 20% from 3 and hit I think 7 3-pointers.
Yeah, which was nothing compared to later in the week.
Then we had the Mavericks game, which was awesome. Mm-hmm. We had a big FU to KP.
You know, if the Knicks are going to beat any team in the league, I want it to either be the Nets or the Mavs. So
apparently, the most unfair thing in life is that the Knicks can't play Dallas 82 times this year.
Seriously,
it's unbelievable. And apparently, the stats, basically the Mavericks' offensive and defensive rating. I think it was going into the game. It might be still true. The Mavericks are basically better with KP off the floor than when he's on the floor.
Yeah, I'm starting to think KP might have been really overrated, but I would still think the Knicks did not get enough for him in the trade.
I would still like to have him on the team. But I think he's overrated, absolutely overrated. But he's also coming back from an injury. He could get a lot better. He has a lot of potential. But anyway, and then we had the Hornets game where Devontae Graham. Let's just say, Jay, I have a situation for you.
Mm-hmm.
It's your team is up by 2 points, or I guess 1 point. I forget, it was 2 points at 1 point. End of the game, the other team's going for their last shot. And a guy in the other team has shot 15 threes. He's made 8 of them.
That's a lot, right?
That's a lot. Do you cover him?
Well,
you did cover him, actually. But don't you make sure the ball does not go to him?
I mean, you'd think law of averages he'd miss one at some point. Maybe that's the strategy they were going for.
I know Ntilikina was on him, but you could have doubled him. You could have punched him in the stomach instead of letting him shoot the 3. Literally punch him in the stomach and just say, I'll take the tie.
Right.
I don't know. Just don't let him shoot a goddamn 3. Anyway, so it's been a weird week of basketball. The Bulls blew us out by 20. Cody White just shot the crap out of us. Great win in Dallas, made the everyone excited, and then a bizarre loss to the Hornets. But how are you doing, Jay?
I'm all right. So the Knicks are 3 and
Colby, right?
It's Colby. I didn't feel like
Colby. Yeah.
So
like the Bryant without the skill set.
The Knicks are 3 and 10, but they could easily have been 5 and 8. Would you feel a lot different about this team if they were 5 and 8?
I mean, yeah, if they had more wins, I'd feel a little better about the team. I mean, the team has had 3 games where they lost by daggers so far. Kyrie Irving with the Nets this game, and what was the other one? There was one other one.
So I guess you can argue they could be.
They could be
6
just
and
a
7.
Shitty team. They could be a shitty, mediocre team, not a completely disaster team.
The Boston game.
Boston game, yes.
6 and 7 would actually be like, okay, around 500. That's borderline playoffs in the East.
Right, but those are moral victories, and you can't give your team a victory every time they lose by 1 point. So a lot of these games are coin tosses, and yes, they could have gone the other way. Knicks are a young team. Young teams tend to lose these games. There's still reason for hope. We're not in as much despair as last week.
Although I do feel like our podcast might be a little different in a few weeks. So
because they have a ton of hard games coming up?
Yeah, that's what I was going to get into. They have Cleveland on Monday, which is fine. But have you looked what's coming up after that?
As long as they're not real NBA teams they're playing, because then we're screwed.
Listen to this lineup. Philly, San Antonio, Brooklyn, Toronto, Philly, Boston, Milwaukee, Denver, Indiana, Portland. That's no good. That's 10 straight tough teams.
It's one of those things you really can't think about that far ahead. They got the next week. They have Cleveland, Philly, San Antonio, and Brooklyn. How many wins do you think they're gonna get in those 4 games?
1.
Cleveland, right?
Yes. Although I
Or
really
Brooklyn,
like for them to
they
beat
could go
Brooklyn.
2-2.
I would love for them to beat Brooklyn. Yes.
Yeah, I would say if we could just beat Brooklyn and Dallas this year, I wouldn't feel so bad about the season.
Yeah. If they went like 6-75, 6-76. I'd still be happy if it was all Brooklyn and Dallas.
Okay, so I have some questions for you. We have a bunch of stuff to go through.
I wanted to run something past you first.
Oh, sure.
So there's this guy Vidad Hania who had this really good tweet. So last week after we were doing the show, we were looking at the Knicks roster and we were commenting how many players seem to be out of the league after playing for the Knicks.
Yeah, the last since we've done the show, every year there's a new cast of characters, and shortly after they are on the Knicks, they're out of the league.
And we were going through each team, and we spent a half hour, and we were commenting how it seemed like a lot. Well, this guy figured out exactly how many. So in case anybody's curious, from 2009 through 2010 season through last season, 121 players played for the Knicks.
Probably higher than most teams.
I would say that's probably higher than most teams. This is definitely higher than most teams. 45 of those players were out of the league within 1 season after playing with the Knicks. That's 37%.
Holy shit. That is a lot of trash on your roster. I mean, there's a couple of examples like Jason Kidd, who's out of league shortly thereafter, and Kidd obviously like Hall of Famer, and I think Marcus Camby's out of the league. There's a couple of players who are like totally fine with them being out of the league shortly after because they were at the end of their career.
But that also says something like we're getting all these guys at the end of their careers. It's
Well,
not
it's
like they
also-
were with the Knicks for 10 years and then they retired with the Knicks. We're just like, oh, you were really good 15 years ago. Let's get you on the Knicks.
So Jay, you just said that the only positive part of that, like only defense I could give, and you just trashed that defense.
Yeah, pretty much.
Holy crap! It is really a poorly run organization.
I mean, 37%, I guarantee there's a lot of turnover in the NBA. I guarantee no team is close to 37%. That is gross mismanagement. That's criminal mismanagement of a team.
I mean, what else? Who else has been that bad? Like Phoenix Suns they've been bad that whole time, also, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they have I don't want to check, but
I doubt it. I really, really, really doubt it.
it's also if you do on top of that, guys who are okay. These are the 45, so 33% are out of the league. What percentage of them, when they leave the Knicks, have any semblance of a career? Even if they're not out of the league, are they more than a 9th or 10th guy on the bench?
That I would argue might be a little different.
You really? Because who? I mean, who are the guys ex-Knicks that are good on other teams? It's a very small percentage.
Zach Randolph had a great career.
Oh, absolutely. There are examples.
Trevor Ariza, Channing Frye.
Those guys all, by the way, all those guys preceded that season. If you're starting at 09-10, all those guys were on the Knicks prior to that season.
David Lee.
So I'm talking about 10 years of trash.
David Lee, Gallinari.
David Lee and Gallinari, yes. But then you have even like guys who are like, we love Steve Novak, we love Chris Copeland. Shortly thereafter, they were nothing. Look at guys more recently. Who's the center we love, the undersized center that we went to Indiana?
Isn't Copeland the undersized center that went to Indiana?
No, more recently.
The other one?
Yeah.
We're just like the NBA farm system.
Oh, crap. I don't know. Most of the guys are just not doing well. I mean, you have like Timmy Hardaway, who can't get off the bench he plays in Dallas, but in Dallas is sorry every time they play him. Anyway, the Knicks suck.
Yeah.
Okay. End of show. We'll
Questions
talk
for
to
me?
you guys later.
See you next week.
Oh, I have someone else to add to the list of guys that were on the Knicks and shortly thereafter were out of the NBA basically for good within a year.
Mm-hmm.
I have a guy to add. Steve Mills. When he leaves the Knicks, that'll be his last job in the NBA.
Yeah.
and he should leave the Knicks really soon.
Yeah.
Steve Mills, who are his two big free agent signings and he had a terrible record with the Knicks president prior to Phil Jackson. Post Phil Jackson, he's been horrible. Who are the two big signings under Mills? And Perry also gets credit for being terrible, but Mills is a team president, and I guess he's at the top. And Dolan's never going. Dolan's the main issue. But since Dolan's never going, the next guy in charge is Mills. Who are the two big free agent signings?
Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yes.
And Courtney Lee?
No, I was going to say Randall.
Courtney Lee was not Mills, right? Courtney Lee was Phil?
Phil. He was Phil. Also, I mean, it's really the big sign. You wouldn't really count Courtney Lee. I'd say Randall and Timmy Hardaway are the two big signings. Mills looked at them and said, these guys are going to be an offensive force on our team. These guys are worth investing in. Mills cannot evaluate talent.
Well, Hardaway was definitely a bust. I still think Randall is not as bad as he's been playing. I think it's just lack of having a point guard. He seems to be playing point guard half the time.
Yeah, I don't think Randall's a bust. I agree with you. I think he's better than he's been playing.
He was great last season. I mean,
yeah,
he had his defensive deficiencies, but he was a monster on offense, and he's not doing that this season.
I don't know if he was the guy you wanted to build your team around either.
Well, this is a placeholder team. We all know that.
Yeah, what are you doing? I don't know. Like,
as a star of a shitty team, he was great last year in New Orleans, and I see a lot of times Frank dribbles up the ball, crosses half court, and he just passes it to Randall and runs to the corner. And Randall should not be the guy doing all that.
No, I mean, there's so often. Yeah, let's get to that in 1 second. I have a question for you.
Mm-hmm.
So, do you think I don't know if Dolan's meddling at all, but let's just assume Dolan has said, it seemed like for Phil, he said, Phil, you're in charge. And for Mills, to a certain extent, he said, you're in charge, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And the rumor is Mills wants to get rid of Fizz.
Yeah.
Should Mills be allowed to get rid of Phil? If Mills wants to get rid of Fizz, should be like, yes, he's gone.
I feel like he should be able to do that if there's a plan. You can't just say, okay, Fizz isn't working out, he's fired. You need to be like, he's fired because we have this guy lined up.
So I'm not questioning. I understand what you're saying, but shouldn't Mills, if he's in charge, if you have faith in Mills, which I don't, but if you do, and I don't have faith in Fizz either,
mm-hmm.
but if you have faith in Mills, shouldn't he be allowed to run his organization, run the team out as he pleases? Shouldn't you basically go, I trust Mills. If Mills thinks Fizz has to go right now, we'll eat the contract. Mills is in charge,
right? But I think,
and if you don't give Mills that kind of authority, or you don't think he's worthy of that kind of authority, isn't it an indictment on Mills, and Mills should go? Like, if you don't trust your team president to run this team, find a new team president. That's
the camp I'm in.
Yeah. Well, I'm in the camp. I think we should get a new team president, and he can bring in all his own guys, including a new coach.
Yeah. No, I'm under the camp of the entire thing needs to be blown up, and that's president, GM, and coach. So
right, I agree with you.
I don't agree with just getting rid of Fizz because you still have an incompetent president and GM.
Yeah, well, I guess like if you're Mills and you're trying to save your job, I understand him saying, "Let me get rid of Fizz and find someone else." If I truly just don't think Fizz is a good coach, let me find someone else to save my job,
mm-hmm.
which is understandable. But I think Dolan has to decide: does he trust Mills? If he trusts Mills, let Mills do what he wants. If you don't trust Mills, then get someone else.
Has Mills ever done anything good?
I'm sure at some point he's basically given $1 to a homeless person. I'm sure like he's held a door for an old lady. Nothing basketball related.
Yeah, I don't think he has.
Nice
he has a terrible resume.
Horrible. Absolutely horrible. He's got to go. He is. I mean, Dolan's got to go. But like the fact that Dolan's not going to go. So if Dolan can't go, Mills has to go. Find a new team president. Find someone competent to run this team. Perry probably has to go too, but really it's Mills.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah. And then I want to get to, so what is the deal with the point guard situation in the sense of Frank has looked a lot better this week. I love his defense. But my real question to you, Jay, is who tells Frank and the other point guards also, whoever the other point guards are, really, to dribble the ball up, hand the ball to Randall, or just do not play point guard on offense? Like at least half the time Frank is playing point guard, he just gets rid of the ball as fast as possible to someone else like Randall, and then goes hides in the corner.
Yeah,
Is this Frank's idea, or is it that Fizz has said you need to hide in the corner more often?
see, if that's the thing, if Fizz is saying Randall is point forward, then it's bad on Fizz. But also, if Frank is just doing that, it's also bad on Fizz because he needs to be like, stop doing that.
It's an insane. There's so often Frank. There was maybe it was the Dallas game. Whereas Frank was, when he was playing point guard, he didn't even want to dribble the ball up court anymore. For a while, it was like he dribbled the ball up court and then passed it off right before the 3-point line. For a good portion of the game, he was just like, I don't even want to dribble the ball up. Randall, you dribble the ball up, you're in charge. Or Barrett, you're in charge. Or anyone else, you're in charge. Because my job as point guard is to not handle the ball.
I honestly think this team looks completely different with a different point guard. Even like a Dennis Schroeder type. I think Porter, Morris, Barrett, Randall all look, and Ntilikina. I think they all look way better with a semi-decent point guard.
I mean, I like Ntilikina has been, so I don't want to just sound like I'm insulting Ntilikina because
no,
his defenses look great, right?
Yeah, his defense looked great. His shot has looked a little better.
He deserves at least 25 minutes a game, if not 30 minutes a game.
His confidence has looked. It's been sporadic, but it's looked like it's at least been on the incline.
It's also, he does things in the Hornets game. He had some he was going to the basket. He put some spin move on and went to the basket and scored. And you were like, holy crap. Why doesn't he do this more often?
Yeah, he's still really raw, but he's definitely showing signs of improvement, which is good news. It's just, I really, really think he is more of a 2 or a 3 and not a point guard.
I think he could flex between, he's really the most positionless player on the team, where he could be your backup point guard and could be your 2 and your 3, or your 2 or your 3 at times. But you need this team badly needs a starting point guard.
Yeah, agreed.
So what do you think it is? Is Fizz just this? Because I've seen also Dennis Smith and do this also, and maybe Barrett at times also, where they get the ball up immediately. Does Fizz not believe in point guard play?
I think he's just like, holy shit, there's no point guards on this team. Peyton's the only point guard, and he's injured.
Why do you?
Smith is really a shooting guard too.
Also, so let's get to Smith in a second. But also Ntilikina, in the Hornets game especially, he started and he's done it in some other games. He's been more aggressive and playing a little more point guard. He's been trying to run the offense a little more when he trying to penetrate and stuff. Why do you? He seems so aggressive on defense and so confident on defense. Why does he disappear on offense all the time?
It seems like it's a confidence thing. His shot is it's inconsistent, and
yeah, of course, yeah. It's getting better lately.
It is. He doesn't look great driving to the net either.
He looks okay though. I mean, he seems like he's not the quickest player, but he seems like he can get the places he wants to.
Maybe it's just a confidence thing. I mean, there was an article that came out saying that he knows he hasn't shown it yet, but he knows he's a dog.
Yeah, he said Fizz, I'm a dog, or I'm your dog, or
yeah, I'm a dog too, but I haven't shown it yet. So
he's a good passer.
He's aware that he hasn't shown what he could.
Yeah, I mean, for all the Ntilikina truthers out there, Ntilikina seems to be on board with the fact that he hasn't been as good as he should be.
Right.
But do you think he's a good passer?
Mm.
Because I was observing in maybe it was the Dallas game. I was watching Barrett, I'm like, Barrett does a really good job, and I don't think Barrett should be a point guard, but he does a really good job of setting other players up with his passes to score, making scoring easier for them.
Mm-hmm.
And I just don't see Ntilikina. I saw other players doing it. Randall was doing it at times. I rarely see Ntilikina, and maybe it's a confidence thing, really setting other players up. Your point guard should help make it easier for other players in the court to score, or else you're not playing point guard.
Yeah, I haven't seen a ton of it. Not enough where I'd say he should do anything with the point guard.
Yeah, I mean, I remember that thing with Chauncey Billups, who, if you read, you remember the piece on Chauncey Billups?
Mm-hmm.
Where he said, early in his career, he was, more into scoring, and then he basically learned from others that, he's like, my real job on the court is to make it easier for everyone else to score. And my
Yeah.
assists are the important number I have to concentrate as a point guard.
Yeah.
Okay.
But Billups was like
really
clearly a point guard, which I don't think it's
Yes.
established that Frank is.
Yeah.
I think
Dennis
people
Smith-
just told
Dennis-
him he's a point guard.
It's the I don't like. I feel like he's not a bad backup point guard. He's not bad for being your backup point guard because his defense alone makes him worthwhile having out of the court.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. He's a confusing player.
Yes, he is.
So Dennis Smith looked pretty good in the Dallas game. What do you think?
Yeah, he looked great in the Dallas game, but I always question games where a player looks good against their former team. Like
That's true.
Portis looked
Yes,
great
that's
against
true.
Chicago, and Smith didn't look great against Charlotte. So it's like, did you really just want to stick it to Dallas, or what's the deal?
He got a lot of ridiculous touch fouls in the Hornets game.
Yeah, I mean, I hope he starts being good, and I hope we see it again in Cleveland. But
At least
Like-
he's on the upswing, I guess.
Yeah,
At
like
least
I
had
said,
a
if
good
it's
game. He
against
hadn't
the-
had a good game this season, so.
yeah, like I said, if it's against a former team, I always take it with a grain of salt.
So, other question for you is the Hornets game. Last play of the game, Knicks are down by 1 with 2 seconds to go. What did Fizz draw up there? Did Fizz just say, get the ball to Randall and magic will happen?
It seemed like it.
Has Fizz ever drawn up a last play? Has Fizz ever drawn up a play?
Well, conversely, Charlotte called a timeout and drew up a play and got a nice look at a three
Yeah.
with 6 seconds on the clock.
Could Fizz hire someone to coach the team? Also, are the Knicks have been playing zone a lot lately as an effort to make their defense better and protect the paint.
Mm-hmm.
Why don't the Knicks guard the 3-point line?
I think we've asked that 6 straight seasons.
I don't understand why. Then the Knicks always cheat towards the basket and leave guys open as possible. Even guys that, like, if you shot a million threes that game, wouldn't you just go hey, just stay near him. Don't cheat off him.
Yeah, I mean, it's much better to let up 2 points than 3.
Why? Also, I've noticed that other teams seem to say these guys shoot threes. We're going to draw plays to get them open from 3. The Knicks don't do that.
No.
Like Wayne Ellington, they draw up plays for to get him open. No one else.
They've ruined Wayne Ellington.
I mean, he's out of the rotation already, which is crazy.
Yeah.
Except for game of the line. You haven't played tonight. There's 2 seconds to go in the game. You're in.
Yeah, exactly.
RJ Barrett's been playing well. Get him off the court.
You've been sitting for 2.5 hours. Go in and win the game.
Of course. And they didn't even throw the ball to him, so I don't know why they even put him on the court.
Decoy.
They thought the other team was okay, we'll put all 5 guys on Ellington. He hasn't been here tonight. He's really well rested.
that was probably Fizz. He's like, oh, it's a decoy. They're gonna quintuple team Ellington.
I assume the timeout's timeout. How long is the timeout? 30 seconds?
Yeah.
I assume the first 20 seconds are Fizz. Do you have any ideas for us? Do you have any idea? Fine, I'll think of something. You guys are babies.
Here's my idea. We decoy Ellington, and then Randall wins the game. That's the play.
But Randall's, he's not even that good. Morris is the better 3-point shooter. Randall's going to do it.
Do you think his idea of running plays is just saying what he wants to happen?
Okay, guys, here's the play. We win the game.
Make the team think Ellington's going to take the 3, but then Randall takes the shot, and then he wins the game.
Should we cut to what
That's
actually
the play.
happened?
That's the play.
Should we cut to the scene where what actually happened?
Sure.
We have unreleased audio.
Yeah.
Hey, are you Fizz or? Hey Fizz, what are we gonna do here?
So Wayne, you're the decoy. You
Um,
raise your hands, make a shooting
I
motion.
didn't even bring sneakers tonight. You said I wasn't playing.
Well, that's fine. Playing socks. Just make a shooting motion as soon as the whistle blows, and everyone's going to think you're taking the shot
Why would anyone think that? I haven't played all tonight.
because you're a good 3-point shooter.
Hey, coach,
Don't
coach,
argue
coach.
with me. I'm the coach.
I'm our best player. I'm a rookie, and why am I sitting on the bench now?
Because Randall's the best player, not you. You're a rook. You're a
But
goddamn rookie.
I've actually been shooting really well.
You shut your goddamn mouth. Randall's the best player, and he's going to win the game. That's the play.
Hey, coach, Marcus Morris here. I have the highest 3-point percentage on the team. Shouldn't I shoot the 3?
You're the second best player. If there's a second game-winning shot, you'll take it. Randall's the
Okay.
best player. Randall just win the game. That's the play.
Okay, should we run any plays to get Randall open?
I just told you the play. Randall's going to win the game with the shot.
Do we try to do you want to run like a double screen, like run off screen? What
I
are we gonna
don't
do?
even know what you're talking about. I don't know what language that is. The play is Randall takes the shot and wins the game.
But do
How
you
is
want to get
this
it like near the
confusing?
basket, make it a good shot? Like what are we gonna do?
Of course it's a good shot. It's going in. That's the shot. I don't even want to hit rim. I want it all net. That's the play. Why is this confusing to you?
Okay, Coach, where do you want to celebrate the loss?
30 seconds is up. Randall, do the play. Do the thing.
Coach, I don't think I should be taking the shot.
Who is this?
Randall.
No, you're not. You want every shot.
Oh, okay, I'm still point forward, and I still am. I have really good. I have a really good handle.
Your point every
Because I
shot.
turn the ball over all the time.
Listen,
Coach.
Randall rhymes with handle. Remember that.
Okay, Randall the handle. Got it. Let's do it. Okay. One more question for you.
Okay.
So, do you think the Knicks should? I said this before. The Knicks don't shoot a lot of threes.
Mhm.
The Hornets have been shooting a lot of. The Hornets have been down by double digits. They said it during the game. Double digits every one of their games, and they seem to win games. They shoot a lot of threes.
They do.
Devontae Graham, they discovered him because they let him shoot a lot of threes. We have guys that can shoot threes in their team.
Mhm.
Do you think we should go high volume and get guys open? Like, I would be a fan of maybe Knox, Dotson. Morris has been shooting pretty well. Like, a couple guys, like these guys are shooting threes. Get them open, run some screens. Let's shoot a lot of threes. What do you think?
I feel like Dodson should get more playing time. He started 41 games last season. He wasn't bad. And he's like the forgotten guy on this roster. Yeah, I feel like Dodson, I don't know. He played 23 minutes last game. He didn't do much, but
They're getting him back in. The problem really is, the problem with a lot of players in the Knicks is they're not there to create their own shot. Knox is not best creating his own shot. Dotson is not best creating his own shot. Someone has to find them.
well, that
and they
goes
can
back to my
shoot.
whole point. Everyone would look so much better with a halfway decent point guard.
That is true. That would be nice.
I mean,
So,
I
as
really
far
think
as-
Knox, Dodson, Ellington, they would all look pretty damn good with a decent point
Okay,
guard.
so we agree, like, as far as getting point guards, the best way would probably be drafting someone really good with a high pick this year or signing someone in free agency, right?
That or trade one of your 5 power forwards.
Oh, no, who's going to give us a point guard for one of them?
I don't know. It seems like some teams have 3 or 4 point guards. Like, can we have your third point guard off the bench for, like, Portis?
Okay, so I agree with you. Maybe we could scout the league, find a Devontae Graham out there, someone who's being underutilized, and maybe that guy will work out. By the way, Terry Rozier looked pretty good. You're still
I still
he-
think
and
he's.
he-
I think that was a Nick effect. I think he's garbage.
okay? So you still don't want him on the Knicks? 'Cause
No,
I was watching him, going like, it wouldn't have been bad to have him on the Knicks.
No. He's a point guard that had 2 assists.
Okay,
Yeah, I think he's pretty garbage.
okay. We have some questions. I want to move on to questions in a second, but here's the question. So there are external options for getting a point guard, but probably for at least a while, we're not going to any external options. What would you do as far as how do we get a point guard internally? What do we do here? Like, how do we improve our point guard play, that is?
You have to find out who's the point guard. I mean, I think it has to be either Smith or Peyton.
Okay, I have some ideas. I agree with you with that. And Payton seems to be injured, so it's hard to figure out he's the guy when he doesn't play.
Right.
So a couple things we can do this season to get better. So we need to get a point guard coach. Do you think we can get a point guard coach? Is that a thing in the NBA?
Isn't that like just a coach?
Yeah, well, the NFL has a thing like the position coach. There's a wide receivers coach. There's a line coach. We are in we're like in the Sahara, like dying for water. That's how we feel about point guards.
Mm-hmm.
Have a guy that goes, your job is to make the point guards good. That's your only job.
Your job is to tell me who the point guard is.
Well, yes, anything. Like Fizz is not the guy. Hire a former point guard, an NBA veteran, whoever it is, and make him in charge of figuring out the point guard situation internally.
Sure. I mean, they have like 8 assistant coaches anyway. Make one of them a point guard one.
Yeah, but it can't be like a Kurt Rambis guy who's just like not a point. It has to be a guy that played
Kurt
point
Rambis was
guard.
trash anyway.
I mean, who's the last Kid's not doing anything right now. Give Kid the job.
Sure.
Or I don't know. Actually, like, who's a veteran point guard who would make sense?
Phillips?
Forget Billups. Doesn't Billups work for the Pistons?
Does he?
I don't know. Anyway, there's got to be a point guard out there who can figure this out for us.
What's Mark Price up to?
Yes, that would be freaking amazing. Also, the season's basically over, right?
No.
I mean, more or less, like the rest of the season's all about figuring things out for next season, right? And maybe getting a high draft pick.
It's getting there, yeah.
It's getting there fast. So why don't we use the rest of the season to do some experiments in the game? Like basically say, Ntilikina, you're a point guard tonight. And what that means is you have to run the offense every time down the court.
Mm-hmm.
You cannot give up the ball until you're setting someone else up. You cannot. There's no dumping the ball off. Basically, we're done dumping the ball off. Try to penetrate, set guys up every time. You dump the ball off. You sit and you're done for the night.
And then Smith comes in, and we try the same thing with Smith.
Yeah, basically, have the guys this is what a point guard does, and really run that.
Right. If you're over 6'9", you're not the point guard.
Mitchell Robinson's like, wait, coach, point center? I don't know. I made one pass. You're the point center now. Okay, also, it's a basic play in the NBA, a pick and roll. Run it every time down the floor.
Yeah.
They don't run enough pick and roll.
They don't. There was a couple times I saw Randall tried to run a pick and roll, and they didn't hit him on the roll, and he got really pissed off.
They also don't set picks also. Most of these guys, their version of a pick is to stand there for half a second, then roll. And you're like, dude, you have to block the guy. You have to do the pick portion of the pick and roll.
Right.
Like Taj Gibson does that. No one else does. But and then go see whatever France did and run those things with those sets with Ntilikina.
Yeah, that should be an easy fix.
Yeah. I don't know. That's what are your goals for the rest of the season?
I guess see who's a real player, and realistic expectations. What is Knox's realistic expectations? Is it seventh man off the bench? Is it a starter? Figure out what everyone's role is and what their potential is.
Right. I do agree with you though. Like a guy like Knox or a lot of these guys on the team, they're not necessarily about creating their own shot. If you don't have someone passing the ball to them, you really put them at a disadvantage.
I would really make a trade to get even somebody's backup point guard, make him the starting point guard, whatever. Just get a point guard in there, and then see what everybody looks like.
I mean, if Peyton comes back, he's okay enough that maybe it could work. It's like Randall. He just handles the ball too much. He can dribble. He's a decent dribbler for a big man, but he's not he shouldn't be dribbling like Allen Iverson out there.
Like I said, he's a good player. He's doing things he should not be doing.
Okay, do we have questions?
Yeah. So, first question is from Lorenzo. Let me just go over all the contact info. nyknickspodcast@gmail.com is our email. nyknickspodcast on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. Want to help support the show? Podcasting is expensive. Patreon. Patreon.com/nyknickspodcast. The New York Knicks Podcast.com is our website. You get Knicks Podcast shirts. We have some articles on there. If you want to write an article, email us.
Yeah, so if you want to write anything on the Knicks, we can't pay you, but we can publish you. So anything you want to have a rant, an opinion piece, why you disagree with us, why you think whatever you want to say about the Knicks, we're happy to put it as long as it's well written. We're happy to put it on the website.
Yes. And I think that's it. So, and our network is the Lineups Podcast Network. So check out lineups.com. They have a podcast for just about every team in the league.
Oh, I want to say as far as writing on the website. So we did talk about Patreon. If we get to our goal is $500 million a month. If we get to $500 million a month, we'll buy the Knicks. And if you've written on the website, you can have a job in the Knicks organization.
Perfect.
Yeah.
All right. Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, I need Mark to outline 5 ways the Knicks season could become even more shitty. What if Dolan sells the team to a Kanye Trump partnership?"
Yeah. The Knicks sign Drake as their point guard.
Oh my god, that would be like my worst nightmare.
What else? Somehow Mitchell Robinson and RJ and Barrett during All-Star break end up being captured in North Korea.
Let's see the Knicks spent all their cap money in 2023 on 7 more power forwards. They just go all power forwards.
The Knicks trade the number 1 pick this year for the right to still have Ntilikina.
The Knicks traded their franchise cornerstone for an 8th man and 2 crappy draft picks. Oh wait, that already happened.
The Knicks fire Fizz and hire Gase, the Jets quarterback, the Jets coach.
All right, Lorenzo also writes, "Hey guys,
what else could happen? Everyone gets injured. Oh, I know. The Knicks win just enough games to get the 5th seed and end up like in the draft lottery, end up with like the 12th pick.
So like the last 4 seasons in a row.
Yeah, basically the Knicks somehow have a terrible season, go on a tear and win the last 10 games of the season.
And then redraft Jordan Hill.
Yes.
Every year they just try and get Jordan Hill back.
The Knicks say their stated goal is to take every top 10 pick who was a bust and make sure they can get a job in the NBA.
It seems like they're actually working toward that right now.
By the way, what's his name been playing in Miami at point guard? Fultz.
Yeah. No, not Miami. Isn't he in
Orlando. Same state.
Yeah.
He hasn't been that good either, so.
Yeah.
I can't believe how wrong. It's amazing how people can be so like this guy's the number 1 pick. And like Ayton's been suspended for Phoenix. Phoenix looks better without him.
Yeah, but it wasn't like an Anthony Bennett situation or even Ayton. Everyone thought Fultz was going to be good.
Yeah, and also Ayton, in fairness, for Ayton, who was taking over Doncic, which is insane. But Ayton also, they have a bunch of veterans. Phoenix has just a better team this year, but it's amazing how they're better without him right now.
Who else got taken over Doncic? Wasn't Doncic 3rd?
Yeah, it was Sacramento. Whoever Sacramento.
Jaren Jackson?
No. Jackson was 4th. It was I have to look at the Sacramento roster. You son of a bitch. I can't remember anything. Anything else? How the other team can get worse?
No, I think they're doing a good job on their own. Okay, so Lorenzo writes, "Hey guys, here's your LaMelo update. The team
Marvin Bagley.
Marvin Bagley. That was not a good call either.
No.
Hey guys, here's your LaMelo update. The team he is on has also started 1-6 record and are sitting at the bottom of the league. He will feel right at home on the Knicks."
Is that a sign? Like, do you want to draft a guy whose current situation their team is terrible?
I thought LaMelo wasn't even a point guard.
Yeah, he's a point guard.
Really? Is he a passing point guard or is he?
I don't know. I don't watch a lot of Australian basketball, Jay.
I feel like he might be one of those. I'm smaller than everybody on the court, so everyone says I'm a point guard, but I just shoot a lot.
Why do you think that? You're just guessing. You haven't watched them.
Yeah.
Do you have any idea?
No, I'm totally guessing.
Okay, like just because. By the way, his ball's not really working out that well either.
No, he seems like he's just chronically injured.
No, even with healthy, it's not like he's playing that well on the Hornets.
Paulie writes, "Mark, Jay made me laugh. You said it's your fault that you didn't record the game, and Jay agreed, yeah. Classic NY Knicks podcast. What did you mean about the Showtime era? Please talk more about this. We'd appreciate it."
What happened?
What did you mean about the Showtime era? Well, the Showtime era was point guard heavy era with Magic Johnson. A lot of ball movement. I don't know if that's what you were referring to.
Oh, I thought he was talking about a problem with the actual show. Didn't we say something? There was an issue with the timing of the show? Did we have any technical difficulties recently? I think that's what he's asking about.
Showtime era? technically, I don't know.
No, not the Showtime like Magic Johnson, like Lakers '80s era. I think he means the actual time of our show era. We made some comment. We did a show recently that we had some error with the starting of the show.
I don't know. We always do.
We always do. Okay.
What do you do for a living, Mark?
Do I want to talk about what I do for a living?
I don't know.
Jay, what do you do? What do you do for a living, Jay?
I'm miserable and I'm trying to get a new job.
I'm in recruiting.
Okay.
I don't want to tell too much, but
what can we do to help with the show's production? What
I don't know. I apparently I can contribute. I don't. So
I would say tell us what's wrong with the production and we'll try and fix it.
They're saying that they're like your production is terrible.
Yeah, I know, but like you got to be more specific than just saying it all around sucks.
No, I mean it's like he's asking because he's like he's not asking because the production's really great.
I get what he's asking. What burger place do you guys go to for burger bet?
What burger place are we gonna go to? Last time we went, we were at the Mets game, and I got him a burger there.
Right. It's not a specific place. It's just like whenever we meet up, which is like once a year.
Well, Jay, what place would you want to go for a burger?
Burger Club is really good, but that would require you going to Astoria. So I know that's not happening.
Oh God, no. I should come to Astoria at some point.
You should.
But you can come to Long Island also.
I could, but I don't have a car. It's very difficult.
You can take a train here.
That's true.
Yeah. Have you met my kids, Jay?
I've met one of your kids.
I have two.
I know.
The second one's been alive for 5 years, Jay.
I've been over exactly as many times as I've been invited.
You know, I have a house. You want to see it?
Sure. Do either of you watch other NBA games? I can't stand watching other teams, but it's good to see what competition's up to. If you love basketball, you watch other games, just other things.
I do love watching basketball, but I tend to devote most of my time watching just the Knicks.
True. I mean, I watch pretty much every playoff game, regular season. I'll watch once in a while, but it's mostly Knicks.
It's also just everything takes a lot of time.
Yeah,
and,
it's very time consuming.
All I do is I become too obsessed with the team I'm into. Like for the baseball, I become too obsessed with the Mets, and I don't really watch anyone else besides the Mets. And basketball, same thing. I become too obsessed with the Knicks, and then I should watch anyone but the Knicks really, just to watch good basketball.
Yeah.
But I'll watch I was watching the Knicks because it was on TNT, and then the game was over, and they went right into the Brooklyn. Who was Brooklyn playing? But they went right into that game, and I was like, oh, I'll watch this for a little while.
Yep.
You know, the last one I watched before that, I was watching the Lakers when they were playing. Who was it? Maybe we were playing Toronto on. It was like a couple Friday nights ago. I don't know. Was it Toronto? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No, I have no idea.
Okay, whatever. I was watching some of the Lakers. Watching some of. I do want to. Of teams I want to watch right now, I think Lakers are near the top of the teams I want to watch. Just to watch the LeBron and Anthony Davis experiment, which is going obviously very well.
Yeah.
Who else do you want to watch? Like 3 teams that you would like to watch more of.
I would say Denver. I feel like they have a fun style of play. I'm kind of curious as to what the Clippers are going to look like now that Paul George is back.
Yeah, I'd say the Clippers are. Denver. I wouldn't mind watching Denver, but I would say Clippers and the Lakers are my top 2 there.
Yeah, I don't really like the Lakers. I don't care about
You're not interested at all watching. It's still LeBron is, even if you don't like LeBron, he's probably the best player not a player of a lifetime, because obviously Jordan played, but we're not going to see the rest of our life. There's a chance we may not see a player better than LeBron.
I know, but
it's interesting to watch.
And I guess Philly.
Yeah, Philly's not bad to watch.
Okay, this guy's email has a couple more questions. Do you guys want to do a YouTube show?
I think that's a good idea. We just haven't done it.
Yeah. Jay, what happened to the recycle bin cleaning lady story?
You have to tune into the other show for that.
Yeah,
we
have a comedy show called The Brink of Sanity, brinkofsanityshow.com, or just look it up on iTunes.
We do another one this week?
Yeah, we'll probably do one this week.
Okay.
I have a Facebook webpage, Dolan Must Go. So check that out. And
he has a thing that Dolan Must Go.
Yeah, so thank you, Paul.
Okay, I agree. I will check that out.
All right. So Matt writes, I don't know why anyone could have ever thought this team could have been even remotely okay. Mills and Perry, but especially Mills, must have rocks in their head for thinking this roster could be good. And if Dolan let himself be convinced by Mills that it's somehow Fizdale's fault that the roster thinks, he's even stupider than anyone believes. And everyone knows Dolan's thick as pig shit, which is an Australian expression.
Is that ringing on your side?
Yeah.
Okay.
The teams...
What is the...
We'll
is
just
it cake
derail
done
this.
you're making in the kitchen?
There's one ping. We could have ignored it, but we'll just...
No. What is it? What is that? What were you making?
I got a text message, and my text is hooked up to my Mac. So when I get a text message on my phone, I get an alert on my Mac, too.
And the alert is the most annoying alert possible?
Really? We're just going to do this, huh?
Go on.
The team's best players, best years in scoring. Randall, 21.3 points per game, but so much worse as the number one option. He cannot play through a double team. Doesn't seem to understand this at all, hence his turnovers. Portis, 14.3 points per game, an unbelievably poor defender. Morris, 14.1 points per game, which was 3 seasons ago. Loves shooting, even when he's ice cold. Reminds me of Carmelo. Gibson, 13 points a game, which was 5 years ago, and Ellington, 12 points a game last year. Stinks this year. The Knicks make everyone worse. The numbers don't add up. They're terrible. Barrett is obviously in a different category along with Mitch. Ntilikina can't score. Peyton and Dennis Smith Jr. can't shoot. Knox, no D. Trier, selfish ball hog. I can't believe this team even gets within 40 points of any other team with decent players. I don't envy you two having to talk about this steaming pile of crap every week, but I love how you do it. These are sad and disheartening times. Thank you.
Thank you. That was an awesome email. Do you think, you have 5, 6 drinks at a bar and suddenly like a not so good looking girl looks kind of attractive?
Mm-hmm.
Do you think the drunk goggles is what Mills had when he signed everyone? He was like, "Oh, Randall, he looks kind of like James Harden without the beard. I mean, we could run the whole offense through him. Portis, he's Black KP. Almost the exact same thing.
He's terrible.
Morris, it's like Carmelo and Oakley had a baby."
Yeah, I don't know. He's just really bad.
Ntilikina, as soon as we hit this, we're going to be like, have confidence. And he's going to have confidence. Until he's going to be the best point guard in the league.
John writes, let's take a break from all the negativity and have a little fun. If we kept every Knicks rookie, this would be our team. How many games do you think we could win the season with this roster, and what would your starting 5 be?
We kept every draft pick?
Yeah.
Well, that's insane. Go on.
Ntilikina, Barrett, Gallinari, Porzingis, Robinson, Trier, Hardaway Jr., Ariza, Knox, Nene, Iggy, Dodson, Shumpert, Wilson, Chandler.
The team still would not be that amazing, but I guess you're going to have...
I think you got the starting lineup right. Ntilikina, Barrett, Gallinari, Porzingis, Robinson.
Yeah. I would agree with that. I wouldn't mind a little better point guard play and having Ntilikina right off the bench, but that looks pretty good.
Still need a point guard.
Because you have a lot of guys who are shooters. Well, basically, KP is a shooter from 3. Gallinari is a shooter from 3. It would be great if someone can get the ball to them and set them up.
14 draft picks, still need a point guard. And you left out Jordan Hill.
Chris Childs. Does Chris Childs want to play still?
That's kind of depressing that they would still need a point guard.
You remember how good Childs was? Because he wasn't, and yet Childs looks pretty good right now.
I know.
Charlie Ward, what are you doing?
Jorge writes, if KP goes his whole career without ever getting a win against the Knicks, would that make up for a championship we'll eventually never see? It wouldn't, but it would be hilarious.
Yeah, we're like we don't need much at this point. Do you think is KP going to be will KP ever be an all-star again?
Yeah.
Okay, you're just a given?
No, I mean it is a lot harder out west. I think he will be, but I don't think he's going to be a top 20 player.
Will Dallas only take it to the next level when KP's the 3rd best player on the team?
Yes.
They need someone else better than KP, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, go on.
Jonathan writes, hey guys, when Fizz gets fired, what coach do you want? I don't want any Knicks legend because this is a shitty team. So any coach that gets the job will get fired. I don't know why would anyone love the idea of Mark Jackson, Ewing, etc. The only way that I would like a coach like that is if we have at least a good team. Thoughts?
We definitely need someone.
I
I
don't
want
want-
someone with experience. I don't have a name in mind.
I don't want Mark Jackson.
Yeah, I'm not dying for Mark Jackson, but I do want someone with experience who I don't want someone who's like, I'm going to learn how to coach and you're going to learn how to play. This will work out well together. Then again, I guess Fizz has experience, so
I don't have anybody in mind. I really don't.
would it be? How do you feel about taking someone from college?
Sure. I
Like
mean,
Brad Stevens looks pretty good. Like,
yeah. I mean, there's talent out there. So you got to, I guess, maybe think outside the box instead of trying to go for a big name.
yeah, I would agree with that.
And last email, Jorge writes, I'm sending you prayers to you guys. We might very well go 2-18 in the next 20 games. Please talk about our upcoming schedule.
Holy crap! Okay, let's go to Facebook. We talked about
mentioned
that already.
that earlier, and it's brutal. It's really bad.
Aaron writes, "Can we play the Mavs every game the rest of the year?" Yes, Andrew. Aaron, I mean, we've designed a new schedule for the Knicks, and it'll work out well. He also writes, I personally don't think the Knicks need or should fire Fizz. I don't believe Perry's dumbass needs to go. What do you guys think about firing only Perry? He's been atrocious.
I think everybody has to go.
Well, if you fire Perry, you have to fire Mills.
Yeah.
And if you bring in a new team president / GM, they should get to pick their own coach.
Yes.
I hate the carryovers. Like let a guy find someone who can
They
this is
need
the guy I have the faith in. Everyone's on the same page then.
they need a clean sweep.
Eric writes, should the Knicks target marketing from the Bulls in a trade, maybe utilize the Dallas picks?
He shows flashes. I'm just a little worried.
I don't know why we need to bring in a power forward again.
Yeah. One, he's a power forward. Two, he seems like he's a little injury prone.
He looks good at times, but that's mostly when he's playing the Knicks. He's a good player. I don't know if Bulls also are gonna. I don't think the Bulls are gonna take the Dallas picks for him.
I would say let's not focus on power forwards.
I'm also really not dying to make any trades unless it involves getting a point guard.
Yeah.
Julian writes, all NBA. Think we already talked about it last year, but is it me or the refs are becoming worse? Do you think the NBA will gain by allowing more contact between players?
I think they should. I think they should allow more contact. I think it's getting way too touch-foul-y, and it's not good for the players. It's not good for the viewers. I don't like it.
What do you think of the whole the foul challenge thing?
I saw one the other day, and it took so long.
I don't know what the percentage on this, but when I watch them, a lot of times the calls are overturned because I think the reffing is just shitty.
Yeah, it is. It is.
It's a lot of times there was one where they didn't use it, I guess, in the Dallas game, or maybe it was the Charlotte game, where it was the foul just wasn't a foul. You're like, what are they calling? Right? It's really tough, probably to ref a game, and they just need to allow more stuff. It just makes the game really hard to watch.
Yeah.
Jeff writes, responded, I think they're not giving the Knicks any respect. The attempted dunk by Frank on KP is a prime example. They reviewed it, saw KP's forearm, and they saw his forearm in Frank's chest, and then had the audacity to reverse the foul call and call it a clean block. As we get more competitive, hopefully we'll get more calls by the refs. I feel like that's a good statement. You have to be good to get the calls, which doesn't make sense.
It's ridiculous. It really is. And
if you remember this play, the replay clearly showed KP had his forearm in Frank's chest when he went for the dunk. I don't know how on a replay you reverse that.
Yeah. By the way, back to Lowry, he's shooting 38% from the field this season and 28 from three.
Kyle Lowry?
Lowry Markkinen.
Oh, sorry. I was like, when we start talking about Kyle Lowry, that's pretty bad.
Yeah.
Anton writes, I don't understand why the Knicks give the ball to the big man. I think it's time to play Allen and let him into the paint and dish to Knox and Morris. Yeah, get Kadeem Allen back in.
Make him the starting point guard. I'm not even joking.
I know people are gonna say the whole Ntilikina stuff. I think Ntilikina should play 30 minutes a night. I just don't think he should play point guard all that time.
Agreed.
Julian writes, just watched the Mavs game. On the point guard matter, I think Dennis Smith going forward could be very interesting with Frank in the 2 and RJ in the 3. He was okay last season, if you remember. I do not rate Peyton. Question. I think part of our point guard issues, regardless, is who's playing, is that Randall and Morris call most of the plays and don't let the point guards be. And that, to me, is becoming an issue. Is tactics or players doing what they want?
Could be. I mean, he either doesn't have control over the team or he's calling some real shitty offense.
Yeah, I mean, we talked about this before. It's really hard to say. Is the point guard part of the point guard issue is just that this is what Fizz wants?
Right.
Because you're right. Because you would think like Fizz would go, don't do that. You're the point guard.
Yeah.
Jeff wrote, I think it's Fizz calling it because Frank hasn't shown enough willingness to drive into the paint and break down the defense. I think you slowly get there, but right now he defers to others and then goes and stands in the corner. And Julian responds, he did it in the French league and in the French team this summer. So, I mean, I didn't watch any of the French league, but he supposedly looked a lot better there. Is that also an indictment on Fizz? The fact that Frank looked better with the French league?
I don't know. That is probably, yeah, I would say, yeah. Yeah.
Julian also writes, Jay, on your idea last week, if you start Frank at the 2 and Barrett at the 3, do you start Randall and Morris at the 4 and the 5?
No, I think you have to start one of those guys in Robinson.
Yeah, I agree. I'd rather see like Randall or Morris with Robinson and the other guy with Taj.
You could still play one of those guys 30 minutes.
I like a smaller ball lineup. I don't think this like going big is really helping the Knicks right now.
Right.
Evan writes, you do this. Oh, here's the trade. I guess Morris. Who's in this picture? We're getting Chris Paul. Basically, you're trading OKC to get Chris Paul. Do you do that?
Morris to get Chris Paul?
It's Morris. It looks like it's Morris, Portis, and is that Barrett in the middle? He can show me a picture of the trade. You want to pull it up on Facebook. He says, you do this trade, I'm intrigued. Don't want to lose cap flexibility, but what's the point if we keep whiffing on free agents anyway? Paul can help Barrett, Frank, Knox, and Mitch reach their potential. So it's Chris. You're basically trading Portis, Morris. I'm not sure. Could you pull up Facebook and just look at this?
Yeah, that's Smith.
Oh, that's Smith in the middle.
Yeah.
Okay. I don't know who you're getting with Chris Paul. Who the other is that?
I think it's Ferguson.
Okay. Well, whatever. The point is Chris Paul. Do you trade that? Would you trade to get Chris Paul? If you could not give up draft picks.
I know. It's just his contract goes for a long time, and it's.
I mean, the point Evan makes here, and I think is a very good point, which I'm starting to realize, is no one is signing here. So what's the goddamn point of having this flexibility?
Yeah, but do you want to get a guy at the tail end of his career? Like, I would rather get like a Dennis Schroeder.
Well, I mean, I guess the point is Chris Paul, who's definitely not as good as he used to be, is still in a very good point guard. And whoever point guards you could have on the roster could learn a lot from Chris Paul.
Yeah, but then you have Paul when he's like 36 making $40 million or something like that. I don't like it.
If you don't need the cap flexibility, though. Like, you don't need that money's dead weight. You don't give that money to Chris Paul, it's going to go to another Bobby Portis and another Randall.
No, I don't like it.
Okay. I don't hate it. It would be good to have like a really good point guard here to like really teach it to learn. It would be a long contract. I agree. That's a tough one. Jeff writes, comment. I see a lot of Paul Pierce's game in RJ. Average speed, methodical, gets to where he wants to go. Question, with Frank's play of late, it made me wonder who was the last non-center elite defender we had. So I guess the first part, what do you think about the Paul Pierce RJ comparison?
It's
everything he said made some sense.
It's interesting. Pierce might be a little bit better of a defender.
I mean, this is obviously RJ's nowhere near Paul Pierce, but like
Yeah, it's not bad.
ceiling.
I mean, if we end up with a Paul Pierce, yeah.
I mean, that'd be amazing if you got Paul Pierce. But like RJ looks like he can do a lot. You know, he went 4 for 5 from the free throw line in the Charlotte game, which is actually probably the most encouraging sign.
Yeah.
And what do you think? Who's the last non-elite defender we've had? Non-center elite defender. So that obviously rules out Tyson Chandler.
Trevor Ariza?
Yeah, so it's got to be someone since then, though.
Does it have to be?
Yeah, whatever. I guess like Kidd at the end of his career is still a decent defender, but he wasn't elite at that point.
Yeah, it was like 40.
Shumpert was decent.
Yeah, I mean, he's saying elite, though, so I think you have to go back to Ariza.
Is Shumpert... By the way, Shumpert's... would you sign Shumpert right now?
No.
Okay. He's trying to get back in the league, so...
We didn't even mention Carmelo's back in the league.
Oh, where are they now?
Where are they now? Portland Trailblazers.
When's he going to play his first game?
3 years too late. They're saying Tuesday.
Okay. Do you think it will work out? Do you think a team that has two of the best guards in the league would benefit from having a guy in the team that will not give the ball to them?
I think this is going to go about as good as the Thunder and the Rockets.
Portland wanted him for a while, so...
Yeah, and when they wanted him is when he should have went there. He's way past his prime now. This isn't going to work out.
Do you think there's a shot that he's been humbled by his being out of the league and he'll now be more of a... Well, its problem is really his defense is horrendous. I don't know how much better that's
I think he has been humbled, and I think it will affect his mindset, but I think it's too late. I think he's too shot.
Yeah. With that, Jay, what did we learn today?
We learned that this has been a surprisingly not negative podcast, I think.
You got to win this week, Jay.
Yeah, we got to win.
And the other one was a 1-point loss, so we only got blown up by 20 points once this week. Stay tuned for next week's show when that number might be higher.
Yeah. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
My love. Goodbye, everybody. Goodbye. It's all over. Goodbye. It's time to go. This is the end. Say goodbye. Go away. I'm gonna leave you. It's the end. Goodbye. Goodbye. Just leave me alone. Feels so good.